Good morning, everyone. I hope this video finds you in the best of health and spirit. This is also a rather unusual video. This is also one of my sandwich videos because between the meat, I would like to put some like something like bread and butter, something unusual and something unorthodox, which has a role to play nonetheless, albeit not such an important or convincing one. Okay. The topic of this video is why our topic of this video is parenting techniques for the 21st century and beyond, a social sciences perspective. Let us begin this video by saying what parenting is, defining what parenting is. Parenting is a process of raising children, providing with them with care, nourishment, and ensuring their healthy mental, intellectual, and physical development. It also involves the art of becoming a parent. The goals of parenting are ensuring the children's health and safety, their preparation for adulthood, their transmission of values, including cultural, non-cultural, religious ones, non-religious ones, etc. And parenting or child rearing would include supporting the physical, cognitive, social, emotional, and educational uh, development of children from right from their infancy, from their toddler stage to their puberty, adolescence, and adulthood eventually. Okay, it may also deal with the art and science of parenting and the intricacies of raising a child, not exclusively for a biological relationship. Okay, usually the people who take care of parenting are biological parents. In 95% of the cases, biological parents need to take care of their children, but in case adoption has been carried out, adopted parents also need to take care of their children. Okay, and elder siblings also sometimes take care of the younger siblings. And in some cases where the second marriage has taken place, parenting is provided by a step parent, sometimes by the grandparent, legal guardian, aunt, uncle, or other family members, or even a family friend. Okay, governments and society also has a major role to play in child rearing or upbringing, because there are orphanages and there are government orphanages, NGOs, non-government organizations also, and foster care and other solutions and institutions are placed. So parenting is taking care of them also. Okay, parenting in proxy, that is. Okay, let us now review the history of parenting and parenting techniques. Parenting has been studied and understood, analyzed from time immemorial, right from the time of ancient civilizations. In the days of yore, extended families the extended families were the norm, and children were raised in large joint families that included multiple lineages and multiple generations. And religious and cultural beliefs are imparted to the children. Rituals were imparted to the children. Knowledge of rituals, including liminal and non-liminal rites and rites of passage. I have written about this. Victor Turner and other people have written about it. I've written about rites of passage from an anthropological perspective in many of my papers. Okay, influence, religious influence and cultural influence also was imparted to the children. Cultural knowledge was imparted to children. Corporal punishments were often carried out. It's like don't spare the rod and spoil the child kind of philosophy. And education was also limited in interest. Informal, semi-formal, to a large extent. Until recently, Victorian parenting techniques were the norm. This has unfortunately outrun its course and is no longer that useful. Victorian parenting was authoritarian. There was a strong focus on discipline and teaching children how to behave in society. And harsh discipline was imparted, including corporal punishment and scolding. Okay, characteristics of Victorian parenting were strict discipline, corporal punishment, teaching right and wrong very strongly and effectively, withholding affection, social education. Okay, and children were seen as property of parents and had very few rights. They were often abused, abandoned, or bought and sold. Of course, this is an obvious exaggeration. Victorian society did have its values, but there were flaws with the Victorian approach. Children were thought to be born naughty or mischievous, and it was thought or felt that they had to be corrected. Okay, and as parenting techniques, of course, differ in other parts of the world. You may think that Asian societies are much more conventional. No, in many Asian societies, Vietnam, Thailand, and Indonesia, at least large number of groups, wherever they were not impacted heavily or excessively Western influence, taught the children to be adults from a very young age and treat the children on par with adults. Okay, this is a very good approach, and it is still being adopted today by many societies cultures. However, scholarship is still Western centric and Western oriented, Eurocentric and Euro oriented. That is the reason why I have proposed this paper. Okay, therefore, we have the concept of cultural absolutism and cultural relativism. Cultural absolutism is the idea that society's culture is best in its values, and norms should be applied universally. It assumes that there are universal moral standards, and there are no differences of human opinions and behave approaches throughout the world. Okay, this is not required. That is why we had Eurocentric approaches in scholarship, and that is why I have set up the Institute for the Study of Globalization. Site, particularly in cultural context, I believe we have a long way to go, and we need to have a culture neutral approach to scholarship. Again, we have the concept of cultural relativism, which states that no culture is superior or inferior. For example, Bangladesh may be superior to US because humans live more in harmony with nature. Or maybe some tribes like the Sentinel Lines, they may be superior in their own way. And now, what exactly is a parenting style? Parenting style is a set of behaviors, attitudes, and approaches that are used to deal with children and interact with them and bring them up as normal children. We have concepts such as parenting styles also. They could be authoritative, authoritarian, permissive, neglectful, etc., narcissist, etc. And the approach of parenting styles is to provide trust, control, and protection to children. And how exactly did parenting styles evolve? Parenting styles evolved from John Locke's 1693 book, Some Thoughts Concerning Education. And later, in 1762, the French philosopher Jean-Jacques Rousseau published a volume on education known as Emile or on Education. Jean Piaget, Eric Eric Erikson, Rudolf Dreikurs, Franz Furedi, and Judith Rich Harris also came up with their own theories. And other people like Diana Baumrund and others proposed their own approach towards parenting typology. They included concepts such as responsiveness, unresponsiveness, demanding children, undemanding children, etc. However, his approach has been challenged. Macaulay and Martin had come up with four parenting styles such as authoritative, authoritarian, neglectful, and indulgent permissive also. And we also have other parenting styles such as attachment parenting, child-centered parenting, positive parenting, narcissist parenting, over parenting, affectionless parenting, toxic parenting, dolphin parenting, helicopter parenting, unconditional parenting, task oriented parenting, and we also have dysfunction styles which are unhealthy. These include having unrealistic expectations, ridicule, belittling, only conditional love, disrespect, contempt, and derision, apathy, using double or consistent standard. This happened in case of or and even an absentee parent. In some case, parents are preoccupied with their own work due to work overload. They indulge in alcohol and drug abuse, gambling, or other addictions. This happened in case of J.D. Vance mother, Beverly Vance. She was a drug addict. Okay, read the book Hilly Billy Elegy, and if possible, watch the movie Hilly Billy Elegy also. Okay, parents must also naturally try to mold their children's orientation. I have written about different types of orientation, such as family orientation, employment of business orientation, individual mind orientation, societal mind orientation, intellectual or creative orientation, my militant orientation, anarchist or queer man. There is no concept of ideal mind orientation. There could be variations, but they could parents should probably bear this in mind and try to mold their children's attitude and approaches towards life appropriately. Again, children's cultural orientations must also be borne in mind and must be molded and uh, channelized. I have written about different types of cultural orientation, such as past orientation versus future orientation, inward looking orientation versus outward looking orientation. This is the cultural orientation. Rigid cultures versus flexible cultures, individualistic versus collective cultures, material and non material orientation of cultures, contentment versus innovation, rational orientation versus non rational orientation. I have also written about Hofstede's cultural dimensions theory and power distance index, etc. And but generally, most people would like to impart their cultures, values, or norms to their children. But some children, parents do tend to leapfrog this and try to identify what is ideal. So parents must be well read, well educated. They must be aware of the trends going on in the world, because even poor people's children, their parents have raised them to be successful in life as scientists, doctors, citizens. I've seen many people like that. Okay, therefore, more these people must try to go ahead of themselves, get ahead of themselves, and go ahead of the society's values, norms, or preferences. Similarly, life skills, ambition, aspiration must be taught also. Okay, life skills will include communication, communicative ability, social skills, social cohesion, bonding, okay, adjustment, and mutual respect to other people, communication skills. Okay, this is not just includes the linguistic communication, but non-linguistic communication also. Critical thinking and analytical skills, decision making skills, innovative and creative skills, problem solving skills, time management, adaptability, flexibility, resilience, interpersonal communication, which includes empathy, understanding, bonding, setting goals, having a positive mindset, self confidence, having good habits, being self determined, being compassionate, etc. Okay, so unfortunately in India still the old mantra still runs. There must therefore be a replacement for only discipline, hard work, and good work, good behavior motto. Only discipline, hard work, and good behavior. That was the these were the three pillars upon which parenting rested. Discipline, hard work, and good behavior are also important, but we need to expand the basket, which includes social responsibility, social cohesion, environmental responsibility. This is a new and virgin area of concern, but it is increasingly important nowadays. Professional success, providing children a direction and orientation in life, providing 21st century values such as creation, innovativeness, technological adaptability, technological innovation, etc. Overcoming the culture of poverty, having good aspiration in life, overcoming an aspiration deficit. I've written about aspiration deficit. This includes ambition also, and we will also talk about religious values, religious modes. This is what parents try to tell the children, teach the children. Unfortunately or fortunately, in India especially, the too much emphasis may be placed on religion, even in some Middle Eastern societies. Therefore, over a period of time, my thinking is religious values must be whittled down to a large extent, and its importance must be gradually brought down. Cultural values also must be taught, but it must be whittled down to a large extent. Universal human values are important. They must be increasingly taught over a period of time, as and when they are formalized and contextualized. Okay, and we also will have other concepts that will need to be borne in mind here. Imposing career choices on children will not work. Okay, we must teach children how to think for themselves. We must teach children the art of decision making. Decision making is very important. So children must be taught to think on their own. Imposing marriage choices on children must will not work. We must teach how to children how to think again. And I have written about universal human values also. Okay, and there's a lot of work with that is going on about 21st century parenting. It's a style of parenting that involves raising children to be emotionally resilient and independent. They must also be socially and culturally aware of the changes that are taking around in the world, and they must adopt the latest trends and be up to date and smart in all ways. Okay, therefore, while teaching universal 21st century values, a universal approach is required. Most data is only drawn from high income countries and Western countries. Developing countries must teach their own research on many aspects of social behavior, etc. Data must be taken from diverse cultural contexts. A lot more research is still required. We look forward to more research papers. I have set the tempo and set the tone, and there is currently a lot of over theorization that is drawn based cult basically based on the researchers imagination based on a limited set of cultural contexts, but data is not it's not ratified and vetted against data. There is also no reliance on the hypothetical deductive method. Therefore, Indians, Chinese, and other people, Koreans must diversify to other fields of research. There is a very narrow thinking because people think of becoming doctors, engineers, and case IT professionals, but very few Indians take up social science research. This is a very big lacuna, a very big limitation, which needs to be critically and crucially overcome. We therefore look forward to a social sciences revolution. We therefore look forward to an anthropological revolution. I have written about these two at a great level of depth, and this paper therefore adopts a purely social sciences approach. I'm looking at it from a social sciences perspective. You also need to have a talent identification mechanism. This is a very weak area, but unfortunately, we have failed here miserably, not just in the West, but here also in India. Special needs of children need to be understood. For example, some children may have dyslexia. Watch the beautiful Hindi movie, 2007 movie, Tare Zameen Par. It's like Stars on Earth in English, but watch it in the Hindi version. Okay, there are many people like with dyslexia, as Amir Khan has shown in the movie. These included Leonardo da Vinci, Thomas Edison, Steven Spielberg, F. Scott Fitzgerald, and Charles Schwab, etc. autism spectrum disorder is another condition related to brain development. Some children may be autistic. Some children may have Asperger's syndrome. This is a developmental order. Some children may have compulsive obsessive disorder. However, they may be geniuses. Therefore, more research is required, more research papers are required. Ethnography must be adopted, fieldwork must be adopted, fieldwork research driven techniques, data driven approaches must be adopted not just from Western context but all over the world. More research becomes vital because we will and must have lower birth rates all over the world. That means the quality of human resources must improve. Countries must make an attempt to raise the overall quality of education, quality of human resources, and parenting also plays a critical part. With this, I end my video. Thank you very much once again. Thank you for giving me a patient hearing. Bye.